you think that it costs them like that much money to make it? Like, dude, it costs them maybe like 90 to 80% less than what they're selling it for.
And it's not all butterflies and rainbows when people are like, oh, you get this brand deal and this endorsement and this and all that.
Brands are going to pitch you the smallest amount that they can give you, which is what? Free product.
We have a ginormous panel they just sent us.
We have a
recently.
panel.
We have a light panel.
It's like pants on a light panel. Oh my goodness, turn that off. We over here talking about demons and whatnot. I make the devil run. Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to the 180 Degree Podcast. We got Tyler and me, Joseph, as well. We are just kicking it here, having a good time. And I think we got some explaining to do is what I'm gonna say.
I mean, I'm not going to say that we haven't posted since February, but we haven't posted since February.
So, I'm not going to say that. Yeah, I think we've been crazy busy, honestly. I think that since then we were featured on an Insider article for that wedding that we did.
Yep. I think that's one thing that we can kind of talk about today because it was such an experience for all of us. We hadn't shot a wedding inside of Disney before, and so that was definitely interesting. So
yeah, dude. I mean, I'm not saying we're the first ones, but I mean, if you guys are interested, we'll drop it in the description below. If you are listening on a different platform, you can just go to Joseph Garcia YouTube. And you can just look up that wedding that we did, and you can see Tyler and I. That's pretty much what was featured on there. So that was actually a pretty dope experience. And that was actually an intensive shoot, man. Even though I don't know if we, I think we gave a lot more in that video than we should have.
I wouldn't say gave a lot more than we should have. We definitely did more than they expected.
There you go. That's a better way to frame it.
I guess more so because they're such good friends of ours and they're amazing people. Shout out Mike and Misty.
Yeah,
we appreciate and love you guys so much.
Absolutely, no, they were crazy dope. What else have we been doing since then? I mean, we were shooting that wedding. Man, dude, we've been like trying to shoot content for like 1,000 other people while still trying to keep up with our own.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge, is because we're trying to keep up with our own content, but people are paying us to take care of their content. So obviously that kind of takes precedence.
You know, I mean, I've always tried to be like, so like a lot of people, okay, if somebody was to ask me, hey, how do you keep up with everybody's content? Like, how do you do it? The best thing I would say is like, hey man, if possible, like go ahead and do something that you can use for both. That sounds so bad. Like I feel like a douche for saying that, but it's like, okay, I'm going to shoot for you, but I'm going to do something that I can use later. I mean, I put that in the contract. I mean, I know that we do that.
No, and that definitely makes it a beneficial situation for both, especially if you have any size platform and you're in the same, I guess, general region. Like if someone's pushing a product or a service and we can kind of counter and get content for both, I guess it's kind of a win-win. You know what I mean? Oh
yeah, no, absolutely. Like I think that it's like a good idea. I found myself that we did that. So whenever I first started working with Tyler, like that was actually one of the things that he said. He was like, yeah, dude, whatever you're shooting, like you can use it for yourself. And a lot of the stuff that you see on my YouTube channel, at least, and photos too, it's all because they were actually for a client, not necessarily like something that we did just for YouTube.
And we'll run into the random situations where we're under contract and can't post stuff, but majority of the time it's going to be stuff that we can use. And so it's super beneficial.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I can actually think right off the top of my head, I can actually think about one thing that's a very big brand that we had some like dope recaps from, like, day of turnarounds. And I think that those are actually like pretty dope stuff, but like, unfortunately we can't really post those. So that sucks. Like you guys, like for real, you know what I mean? Like it kind of sucks whenever you're doing something and you're just like, oh, I can't post these.
Yeah, you're so proud of it. And then you kind of think back, well, is this something I want to risk or something I don't want to risk? It kind of...
Dude, it's like that was the biggest thing because like I was so proud of these things. I was just like, dude, if you guys only knew, like this isn't a 24-hour turnaround. This was literally like a 12-hour day turnaround because it was like start the day, 8 a.m., and then go do your whole thing, shoot, get back to the hotel, maybe rest for like an hour.
Just enough to shower.
Just enough to shower.
Sit down.
Get right back into it. Be done by 10, 11 o'clock. Send it to them. And they're just like, oh, hey, can we fix this, fix it? Like, there's still revisions, bro. Still revisions. And then after that, you're like, okay, now you can have it. And then we can go back into it.
And then 6 a.m. call time.
Yeah, dude, 6 a.m. the next day. So, you know what, dude, that's like an interesting thing. Like, I think that's like a good thing to touch on is like, everybody says, I love to work with like Zhuin and like anamorphic lenses, like, you know, like Vazen lenses and like, you know, I want to work with brands like, you know, Monster Energy or like Red Bull. Shout out if you guys are watching. No, but like on the real, it's like everybody wants to work with these brands, but like once you realize what goes into it, you might, I'm not saying you wouldn't want to, but like you might second guess it. Would you agree with me?
I mean, I kind of had that experience recently with a brand that I prefer not to say. They make great products and all that, but the back and forth was something that I did not enjoy with them. It's a very, I guess, worldly known brand. So
tell me more, man. Like, what happened? Like, what happened? You don't have to say names, obviously, but what happened?
Okay, so essentially, they sent me a product, and we had discussed an amount for, you know, pretty much the influencer program that they do, and I can't stand when brands and companies put the word pro on something and it's not pro standards. And
you said, don't put pro on it if it's not pro. You said
it's not pro. It may be, I mean, for your sales that may work, but for the people that actually know what they're buying or not buying because it's not adequate, agreed to this amount. They ended up wanting more content than we agreed upon. I kind of got irritated and fired back a little bit hotter than I probably should have.
Yeah.
But instead of them dropping the campaign, they turned around and said, hey, we're so sorry about this. We're going to offer you more money, and let's just
Wait, hold up. You're telling me that, like, your response to this, like, world-known brand was like, oh, yeah, like, we'll send you some more money. Like,
I said, hey, what's the shipping address? I'm going to send the products back because this is not worth the money and the products for what this trouble is being for us.
Bruh.
And I expected them to be like, all right, here's the address. We're going to call it done and possibly even look at getting in trouble because the contract is already done. And they're like, oh, we'll pay you more money. And I was like, oh.
I mean, that's cool with me.
I mean, I'll take that.
No. So like, I mean, obviously like I was there during the process. I didn't know everything that was going on. He just said, God, this brand, like, because I can't say the name. Oh, this brand. Like, don't look up somebody called this brand because like clearly they're not a real thing. But no, and I remember going through that and I remember Tyler was like, dude, this is so annoying. But I feel like that took guts, man. Like let's be real about it. Like, can you imagine like, you know, let's say that it was like Sony, for example. You link up with Sony and they're offering you money. They send you some expensive equipment. And then like, you're like, nah, hey, you're asking for too much stuff. And then like you fire back, like, I don't know, dude, I'd be kind of scared. Like, don't you feel that's kind of like severing bridges? Or
I was on the fence on whether or not that I wanted to do it, but I felt like they may have been doing this to other people. And they're just like, oh, the big brand. Like, I can't tell them otherwise. Like, why would I do that? Like, but I think when people actually stand up for themselves, you actually get a bit of respect from whatever brand that you're working with. And it's not all butterflies and rainbows and people are like, oh, you get this brand deal and this endorsement and this and all that. It's not as beautiful as it may seem.
Oh, dude, that's like such a good point because I will say I always wished, I was like, man, whenever this brand, when this marketing company, when this brand says, hey, you know what, we want to work with you and we're going to send you more stuff, I was like, dude, I freaking made it. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, I made it. And like, it's not to exalt myself in any way, by no means at all. But it's like now that I'm getting a lot more of these brands like reaching out to me and sending me products. It's like I said, it sounds really
more particular.
Yeah, you can't be more particular. And on top of that, like it's like, dude, it's like you said, it's not all sunshines and rainbows, man. Like there are still contracts, you know, and you also need to take care of like your brand. So. Oh, dude, this is something that you and I have talked about before, so this is like a big deal. But it's like, bro, don't you hate it whenever they say, okay, let's say this. It's like Rode sends you this like thing and they say, okay, you need to post on Instagram and you need to post about this, da 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 da. Well, first of all, we have our own separate brands. Like there is like our personal brand and then there's like what we do. So unless they're paying you a lot of money, it can be a little bit awkward to try and push something on your personal like brand, but at the same time, they're just paying you in free product.
Right.
Like,
and that's how I think most, I guess, micro influencers start out, is they just do product exchange for the feature on their page or whatever. And you'll get to a point to where you can start controlling on who you want to work with and how much you can charge. Like you'll get to a point, if you put forth enough effort, that brands will not only send you the free product, but they'll actually pay you to do the posting and all that. But that, I mean, it's like I said before, it's a ton of work.
Yeah,
a lot of back and forth.
I don't think people realize, in the sense of like, whenever brands reach out to you, you say like, oh, I can just make a video for them, this and that. Like, here's the thing though, man, is that like, imagine like you're pushing out like a high quality product, like your videos, your content, everything like that. But it's because you're not put in a box. But imagine whenever a brand actually reaches out to you and says, hey, I want you to make a video about this phone and it needs to follow these guidelines. We want to push this feature of this product. We want you to feature this thing. We want to make sure that there's like a close-up on the logo. We want to make sure. And so when you think about it that way, there's a lot more stuff to the concept of, hey, just make us some free product on this content.
Right, for sure. And you got to stick to not only your niche on what you're doing and what your brand is about, but also the quality standard. And even for us, like if there's too much creative control on their end, we typically will push away from that brand because we still have an aesthetic that we like for our brand, and we don't want to leave that just for some dollar bills. It's not essentially selling out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so Tyler and I, we're a part of like maybe a handful of different like social media, not necessarily social media, but it's like it's like brands have focused on like, it's like they send all their stuff to this company, and then that company, it's just like it's like a Facebook marketplace for brand marketing kind of stuff, right? And so we go on there and we like apply for these different campaigns, and there's a lot of them that we look at, and I've noticed is that if it says post to your personal Instagram, we don't do it. And because there's some that are just photos and videos, and we're like, yeah, we'll make content for you and you can push it and do whatever you want with it. But whenever you stick it to us, man, like if something goes down, unless you like, dude, I didn't realize this, like you have to be a lot more picky about who you work with, because it's they represent you and you represent them.
Oh, for sure. And that's why like we've been offered endorsements and deals between brands that don't necessarily make the quality of equipment or whatever it is that they're selling that fit our standards. The money is great, but we're still going to steer away from it because that's not something that we want to endorse, on our end.
And on top of that, man, like you think about it this way, is that like, I think this is one huge thing for you to remember, is that like, don't shortchange yourself on what quality and what content you can provide, because at the end of the day, dude, like that content stays there forever, dude. Yep. Like right now, it's because that's why like a lot of people send their stuff. These medium-sized brands, they'll send them to younger or smaller creators, and no disrespect by saying that, but they send them to smaller creators so that at the end of the day, they'll be like, oh, dude, I see potential here. And because I see potential, I'm going to get them when they're small. And then now
build that relationship.
And then like later on, they'll be like, but hey, we sent you free product last time and you were cool with that. What happened now? And it's like, we're not going to do that. And dude, a lot of times, like you don't understand is that like brands are going to pitch you the smallest amount that they can give you, which is what? Free product. Like that's like the base, or what do you think?
And not only the free product, but the smallest amount of like product or whatever device or whatever they're selling. Because that's happened. You got to realize that, especially a lot of these larger brands, they have people that are their job is to find influencers. Their job is to find content creators. So of course they're going to watch their bottom line. Like, I'm not going to send you this super expensive light whenever I can get away with sending you this light that fits in the palm of your hand.
And I still get the quality content. It's still in there. Like, I mean, so this is something that I would like to mention to you, like as far as YouTube is concerned. Tyler can mention a little bit more too, like on the Instagram side, but I can tell you a lot more on the YouTube side. When it comes to YouTube, like there are like features like where imagine like we're sitting here talking and then I'm like, yeah, man, today we're talking about the Rode video mic thingy, whatever. But like, by the way, Red Bull sent me this thing, pretty dope, huh? And then just like put it down. That right there, you can get paid for that. And then you have like the next tier up where you have like a sponsorship. You have like 60 to 90 seconds. Hey,
little segment.
Yeah, like a little segment. Like we are like the video is sponsored by this brand. And then you have like a fully dedicated video, which means that like everything that we're doing today revolves around the product. Yeah. And it's like, you see that a lot where it says like, it always starts like, it's like, with DJI's magnificent Magvic Air 2S, I can do all of these things. And for some reason, it's always like the UK guys.
Yep.
But like, on the YouTube side, that's something to keep in mind. So remember, is that people pay for all of those features, and if they can get away with just sending you free product and you make a whole video on it, like, I'll be honest, I agree to that. I'm not going to say who it was, but I made a fully dedicated video for someone that I did not agree with, but I wanted the product.
No. And it's definitely a learning curve on like starting the process. Like, you don't know what you're doing unless you have some direction. Like, and if also you're smart, and I wouldn't say smart, if you choose to go the direction of having someone that manages you as a brand, and
that's a good point.
Those people can really, I guess, skyrocket your stuff a lot quicker than you can personally. But I think with us, everything that we've done has kind of been self-taught, and so we kind of like to get kicked in the head whenever we do something dumb. Like, we agreed to a video for a product that was worth X amount, and I guess it's kind of the learning process, and it kind of makes it fun.
Yeah.
But not opposed to the people that want to go the route of getting a manager or whatnot right off the bat.
I mean, I think I don't know. Maybe Tyler's price has changed, but I do know that my price is to do something that is a free, even maybe not a fully dedicated video, because a fully dedicated video, like, unless I really like the brand, which we'll get into that in a second, as far as like if you really believe in the brand, where you will go on the spectrum. You know what I mean? So if at the end of the day, you really, 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 really want to work with Sony, like, that's like, you're like committed to the brand, you're committed to them. Like, if you really want to do that, then maybe you will make a dedicated video just because they sent you something. But I will say, going back to the price, if it's less than $600, like the product that they're sending me, if it's less than $600, $700, like, I will not offer any kind of anything for free.
Right.
Like I always tell them, I've said it from the very beginning. I say, hey, if you want to send this to me for free, you can, and there may be a chance that I'll use it if I feel it benefits my audience, but no guarantees. And some people who have the money, they'll just send it because, dude, remember this. You think that it costs them like that much money to make it? Like, dude, it costs them maybe like 90 to 80% less than what they're selling it for. So, like, what about you, man? Do you think that there's a price that you need to hit so that, like, you can make it free or not?
I guess more so it used to be. It kind of goes in the same realm of doing a free video to get in with the company. Like, right. When you're first starting out doing video and you're really trying to, grow your name and all that. So say, for instance, if Aperture came up, and they said, hey, we'll do this, that would be someone.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
That's a brand that I've not only used for years, but I respect everything that they do. Their quality is crazy. So, I mean, in that type of situation, yes, but it would be very dependent on who it was for, more so.
And it's like you said, man. It's like who you pick. So, for example, I'm gonna cut to a wide shot right here, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you see in the corners, like over there, you see, like, for those who are just listening, we have like our Nan lights, which are these like tubes. Nan Light has taken care of us.
Shout out Nan Light.
Yeah, shout out Nan Light
so much,
dude.
And
oh yeah,
that kind of goes back to the building the relationship with the creators.
And it's like you choose, right, bro? It's like you choose who you want to go the extra mile for.
And that's Nan Light for us. Like, we have a ton of the tubes around. We have some of their Bowens mount lights. We have a ginormous panel they just sent us recently.
We have a
light panel.
It's like pants on a light panel.
No, and for those cats, like, we'll do anything for them. Like, they're great. Shout out Emily as well. She's kind of our handler.
Yeah, she's
in
like,
that case.
dude,
like,
isn't it funny that, like, by the way, like, everyone has a handler. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you're good. Like, that's kind of the direction that I was going. Like, but she's connected us with now Timba. Timba makes some great quality bags that we just got in that we're excited to test out. You guys will probably be seeing some stuff on the new bags that we had gotten it. And that kind of goes like, hey, you know, Emily is going to drive us to the brands that take care of their creators and that make good quality products.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you get to decide on really like who it is. And it's crazy because like we have no problem giving them like right now they have a whole segment without even being intentional about it. They have a whole segment about the lights, like our key lights, our nan lights. Like, but the reason is because we believe in them. We want to take care of them. They take care of us. You know what I mean? So it's really like a give and take relationship because I'm gonna tell you right now, like if you go and see your favorite creators who are being sponsored, like I'm gonna tell you right now, they probably have several like brand ambassador things. Like they have a lot of them. However,
you only see a couple of them.
Yeah, you only see a couple of them that really stick with it. And it's really based off of like, I think a lot of it has to do with their relationship with your handler.
Right.
Your handler, you know?
And I expect that, you know, if they're similar to us, that it's not based on the dollar value. Like,
right.
I would much rather work with Nanlite over someone that may pay us a little bit more money because they respect us. They respect us as creators. They respect our time, and they take care of us. And that's why I'll always praise Nanlite and always work with Nanlite.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I've also,
but I'm not. Yeah. I'm not saying I won't work. I will work with Aperture.
Hey, Aperture, you want to?
We got the tubes here. We got a couple Aperture fixtures back there, but we still love you.
I mean, we love you too, but we'll give you some love, you know. But yeah, it's truly about who you decide to work with, and it's more about the relationship in terms of like, I'll tell you right now. So, real quick story about this, and you know, I have no problem sharing this. So there is, you guys may know them, Cuts Clothing. You know, they make shirts and clothes and stuff, really high quality stuff, right? I initially had worked with them, but whoever was working with me, I don't even remember who it was. I don't even remember a name, which should tell you something, right? And that should tell you something. Like, I don't even remember the guy's name, but he had said, hey man, I'll send you a little bit of like clothes, you know, I'll send you some stuff. And I said, yeah, dude. All right, cool. Let's do it. He sent me one set of clothes. I messaged him back like, hey, what should we do? What does it look like? You know? And they just gave me like an affiliate link, and like, that was it. And then after that, I was like, I never heard from him again, bro. Like, never heard from him. And I was like, dude, this sucks, man. Like, I thought that we were supposed to have a relationship, right? So then, like, I'll be honest, I stopped pushing the brand because they weren't taking care of me, even from a relationship aspect, bro. Like, they weren't even telling me, like, hey, like, how are you doing? You know, what's going on or whatever. They weren't doing anything.
Which I understand the point of, like, being very business-minded.
Right.
But you still need to create the relationship. I know that I can message Emily and just talk about whatever.
Right.
You know, and there's still that friend factor where you're just not, you don't feel like a number on someone's list of creators or influencers.
I agree. And so then what ended up happening is I actually got reached out to again, but now notice the difference. His name is Gabe. That's my handler. That's my rep with Cuts Clothing. And now my dude takes care of me, bro. You know, like I take care of them. They take care.
I remember you told me you're like, hey, I wanted to try this new shirt, and like the next couple of days you got the new shirts in or whatnot.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, dude, the last time when they said, hey, I'll send you shirts, like,
cricket.
Yeah, I mean, it took a little while, you know, but like, no, man, like, in no way it's like bashing them or anything like that. It's really more about the concept of you decide on who you want to work with. And that's like, you have like a threshold of how much you want to give and whatnot. And then it also affects like, hey, your relationship, how are they with you? You know what I mean? Like, how sick would it be to work with like Sony or Aperture? But what if they treat you not so good? Like, would you want to stick with them?
No, not at all. And also, in regards to Emily, she works with a few different brands. She reaches out to us whenever there's new products, and that's what I respect. Like, we're not having to constantly like have to keep up with what's new or who else can we work with. She's always looking for opportunities to give us.
And I think that's the biggest thing, man. So like, I will say this. Remember that like Tyler can tell you more about this, but like, dude, don't they like, isn't like every post, like you get paid, right? Like a certain amount of photos is like a payment on Instagram, right? Or like a story, like, you know, it's like, those are deals or like package deals.
Right. And they're add-ons. They're like essentially a la carte items. And then there's also the brands that'll pay you. There's brands that'll pay you for an indefinite post on your feed.
Oh.
And then there's brands that'll pay you for, hey, it has to at least be here for this long.
Oh, wait. So they really have that kind of stuff, like thresholds of.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh. And they're different amounts. And that's why like some people are kind of okay with doing stuff that doesn't really fit their feed because it only has to be there for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. But that's why we like to be more specific, like on what we shoot, because we don't want to have to delete it. Like it's just more content that we have out there, and be more specific on who we work with, because it needs to be aesthetically pleasing. It needs to be quality products that, like, if you were to go buy right now, I want you to be happy with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I actually had a company that reached out to me. They're like an editing program company, and they're gonna pay me like a decent amount of money to make a dedicated video for them. And they're like, hey, it makes it really easy to edit, everything like that, da-da-da-da-da. And then I sat there and I was like, oh, man, this is good money. But then on the other hand, I was like, bro, I'm over here making tutorials on Premiere and trying to get people into, you know, the next level of editing and like all that stuff. So why would I make a video that is going to bring people in that are like beginner level? I'm not saying that I don't want beginners, but it's like, why am I going to bring them in whenever I'm pushing, like, even the quality of the camera? Like, I'll tell you right now, somebody who uses that editing program, they're probably not using a DSLR or mirrorless camera. They're using their phones or something.
And you know realistically that you're not going to use that product.
Oh, dude.
I mean, let's be real here. Like, we like to actually do deals and brand stuff with people that we actually use.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to say it this way. Your audience, your people, they will recognize if... They will know if you're bought in with that company or not. Like, you can tell.
Right. And to be, I guess, I'll drop a hint on the story from earlier. You will know if you search through my feed a little bit, you will know just by the verbiage that I had to use on that post on who it was.
Dude, because that's the thing, right? Like,
that is the thing.
Like, you have to write down, or like everything needs to be approved, right?
Yep. And they sent me, you know, it's a big business or a real deal whenever they send you an Excel spreadsheet with all your stuff, all your analytics, all like
what
your approval and what you can say. And it says next to it, if anything is changed or adjusted, it has to be resubmitted for approval with our team. Dude. But like I said, if you scroll on my feed, the photo doesn't stand out, but at least the description, you'll be like, okay, I know who this is about.
Dude, I think that's the whole problem, is that like people say, we want a photo like this. And because they're thinking from their brand, but it's like, okay, dude, you are your brand. But when you talk to me, like, this is what's so cool about being a creator in today's world, man, is that like the big brands that have made it, they have to respect us. Like, you have to respect my creativity. Right. You have to respect what I bring to the table, because I'm growing because, like, no disrespect, but it's like, I'm growing because we're different. Like, there's already a Sony, there's already an Aperture, there's already a Red Bull, but there is no Joseph Garcia. Like, that's the whole point. Right. You know what I mean?
And I feel like they do it in a sense of like, they understand money spent with a creator, influencer, whatever you want to call it, is going to go a lot further than if they were to throw it into traditional marketing. I can't speak today. And so also there's been brands that have reached out to us kind of on that same note of, they reached out to us and essentially asked us for a completely different style of photos than what we normally do. And that just doesn't make sense. And you can tell those brands are newer to the game and all that. Yeah. Like, if you go to a photographer for a wedding photographer, and they do light and airy, and you're like, God, I want to work with you. I'll pay you.
I love overexposed photos.
And then that's a whole nother topic. And then you go to them and say, I love your photos, but I want you to edit like this. Then why did you come to me if that's a completely different style than what you're wanting? So brands that understand this and know what they're doing, they know how to navigate that. And they're not going to ask you to do something completely different than your aesthetic.
Yeah, dude, I remember whenever I was at VidCon, it was so interesting because they have different booths, like these different companies, they choose like where they want to be in the creator hotel to see like what they want to put up. And then you see the ones who have done it before, and then you see the new ones. So the new ones, they feel like they're going to a regular trade show, and they have their table, and they have like their little thing that covers it, and then like they're in this little room. And like, I'm not trying to be like trust me, dude, I'm not trying to be like a douche or anything, because I know
just a comparison.
It's just a comparison, but like, you know, because they have to pay to be there, obviously, right? Lots of money to be there. So there's that concept, right? And then on the other side, you have people like, and once again, brands you take care of, Epidemic Sound. Those guys take care of me. Bro, these guys, they had rented out the entire hotel pool. That whole pool section was them. They had signs there. They had cameras there. You know, they had drinks. They had Red Bulls.
All the people that were there were probably creators doing vlogs, meeting each other. So they're literally just getting essentially free promotion from all the people that were there.
Exactly. And so it goes down to like, and I remember having this conversation, dude. There was I can't remember who it was, but like I remember there was an exchange between two individuals, and they were like, oh my gosh, did you see so-and-so's booth? Like what the heck was up with them? And I was like that triggered me, you know? I was like, oh wait, this is a thing, man, like among your, like their circle, you know what I mean?
So did Epidemic have a actual booth inside there as well?
Oh no, dude, they didn't have a booth at
all.
So
I wonder how it played out financially on what it looked like to rent a booth inside, and then what it took to rent the pool.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, dude. Like there was some booths that were like dope booths, like because you know a lot of people, you know, whenever they go to a booth, they're like, okay, we have this much space, and then this much and whatever, right? And like they try and build out, but they can't. There are other places that they would build up. So they would have this section, but then you would look up and be like, holy crap. They have like a whole like light setup and like a whole thing. And I was like, dang, man, these guys it's like they say you have a 4x4 foot. It's like, okay, not really. I have a 4x4 16, you know, by 20. You know?
I wonder, I forgot it wasn't you that, it was similar with SEMA. Like you could tell the guys that have been there, that have experience with the setups, and just went crazy. And then, and then the little mom and pop shop, which I'm rooting for you, that we're just in these small little areas. But I mean, you got to start somewhere. You got to respect it. But it goes to show you that this person knows what they're doing. This person is experienced. Like, you know what I mean? It kind of.
Yeah. And even them, man, like they are aware of where they can get the most. They're aware of where they can get the most out of like their investment. Because remember, like, you know, we've been talking a lot about like, we need to be careful what we do. But like on the other side, man, like remember this is that in some way or another, the brand, like they still need something in return, man. Like they need a return on their investment,
right?
You know. So
and I think if Epidemic played it out how they did, I definitely think it's going to be more. It was more beneficial for them to do the pool party thing than just have a booth that people can walk up to. Because I mean, let's be real here. What is Epidemic going to have a booth? Like, are they going to have some like touchscreen things of their websites?
Yeah.
Like you can't do much. But if you have people at a pool party listening to the artists that they're hosting on their website, people vlogging, it's going much further than a booth.
Yeah, like without even trying, man, you know, they are getting free content. Like they had a big old sign that said Epidemic, right? People want to take pictures of it. Dude, it's already there, man. And like I think that the biggest thing to keep in mind when it comes to brands, and even you, like if you're a content creator, even you, when it comes down to it, you need to understand that you are your own brand. And Tyler and I have talked about this so much because it's a killer concept. Imagine this. In what world did you think that pirates, owls, coffee, long hair, photos, Canon, and videography come into play? Now, everybody, look at Tyler's face. Tyler's face is smirking at me right now.
Because I know exactly who you're talking about.
And I guarantee you that all of you who are watching, if you're in the space, you know about it too. We'll say it together. 1, 2, 3.
Peter McKinnon.
You're like,
why did we say that like
in sync, baby, in sync? Baby,
we also sounded like Sam, not Sam. No, Sam Newton.
Oh, Sam Newton. Oh yeah.
Peter McKinnon. We kind of said it how he said it.
Oh, really?
In his music video.
So like I say that in the sense that like you would think that that's not a thing. You would think that, and there is no world where those things would fit. But because he created his own brand, now that works. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess to kind of wrap up this topic, I think I want to talk about just briefly, when do you start trying to work with brands?
Oh, dude, man, that's an interesting question, bro, because I kind of look at it this way. Like, if I'm being real with you, I feel like you know when you should start working with brands when they start reaching out to you.
When did you work with the first brand?
work
with your first brand?
Man, the first time I worked with a brand, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was, I think it was like a light, I think it was Lume Cube, maybe? Lume Cube, you know what I'm talking about? Like those little baby lights or whatever. It was either Lume Cube or like a small like lighting company or something like that.
Well, what were your numbers?
My numbers, dude? Oh, no, that's not true. I'm sorry. Epidemic Sound was the first people I ever worked with. I was like at 9K, 10K, like on YouTube. And so I really think, okay, check this out, man. Like, let me say it this way. If you say, how do I work with brands? I don't think, if you're asking how do I work with brands, for the most part, I don't think you, like, okay, let me say this. When somebody asks, do you think I should work with this? Do you think I should reach out to brands and all this stuff? If you're saying that, you're not ready. But if you're asking, how do I work with brands? Then you're probably ready. And also, people will figure it out. So I'll tell you right now, man, I just look at my email, and then like every week, I have like at least 2 to 4 emails from a company that wants to work with me.
Right.
But why is that? Because they see the content that you're putting out. They see what you're doing.
Well,
so
I mean, anyone with the internet can also look up your personal analytics on YouTube and see the growth, you know, especially with all the extra work that you've been putting in. I think mine was around 7,000 or 8,000 on Instagram, and it was this tripod company, and they were so cheap. But I mean, I used them a lot because, you know, at that point we didn't have crazy amount invested in gear and extra stuff. And so I took it, and it was an exchange only, but that kind of got my feet wet on how to do it.
Right.
You know, and that was definitely a learning curve. I think definitely honestly, if you want to start reaching out to brands and whatever you're at now, it's not going to hurt. The only thing that I would say is if you reach out to them now and you reach out to them again later when you've grown, you might have a little bit more leeway or more pull, I guess, with them.
Potentially. I mean, I think so, bro. But at the same time, like, I just like, I hate it whenever people ask me this question. They're like, hey, man, I want to work with so-and-so. Like, how do I do it? And they're like, no disrespect to them, but like you look at their content. I'm not looking at numbers. Like, I'm not talking about numbers at all. I'm not looking at subscribers. I'm not looking at like anything like that. What I'm looking at purely is their content, their feed. They have like 6 photos posted. You can't even scroll through their feed.
Extremely inconsistent as well.
Extremely inconsistent. Number 3, you look at their YouTube. It's like one random thing of like them hanging out with their cousins at their ballet recital. And then you see like a completely different photo where it's like a landscape. And then after that, it's something else. And I'm like, dude, so looking at all that, I'm like, you're not ready. Like, you're not ready to work with a brand. Like, what are you going to tell them? Like, oh yeah, that was a while back. The ballet recital was a while back. Like, no, dude, like take off those selfies off of your page. Like, take off those things. And then you need to have consistent content to where a brand can be like, I could work with them because of what they offer.
Right.
So,
I definitely agree with that. Like, put all numbers and stuff aside. Like, that's something big.
Yeah, because like I just don't know. Like, I just hate the concept whenever like this is how you know if you're looking into it because you want free product, you're on the wrong wavelength. These guys, like, put it this way: if you're looking at it at free product, all these companies, obviously they need a return on their investment, but they're hunting for people like you. They want people to be like, free product, dude. It costs you $100 to buy that MSRP. It probably costs them like $15, $16 to make that thing.
Right. And it definitely, like, if you're not thinking of how you can help that brand.
Oh, that's good, bro.
Just getting the product, you're not ready to be doing these types of deals. Like, you have to realize, like, this is a two-way street. Like, that's why when we talked to Emily, outside of everything that we've shot for them and delivered that is part of the agreement and the contract, we go above and beyond. And that's why I think our relationship is so strong with them. Mm-hmm. And they, I guess, essentially love us so much is because we reciprocate everything that they put in and more.
Yeah. And so it's like, and it's one of those things, man, where it's like, if you're like, let me say it this way, like, yes, you need to have consistent brands and consistent topics or consistent like feeds and stuff. But the biggest thing that you need to understand is it's a two-way street. And if like effort is noticeable, you know what I mean, bro?
Right,
like,
right.
it's like, we don't have to tag them in everything, but we do because we care.
Because we love you.
So, kind of shifting gears here a little bit. Whenever it comes to like working with brands and whatnot, I really suggest that you consider really your content before you get into anything else. Because if you don't like, let me think about it this way. If you haven't invested in yourself and you haven't invested in your own content, if you haven't invested in creating a brand that makes sense, why would another brand want to spend their money on you if like you don't even know what you're doing? Right. Like, imagine looking at it from a brand. Like, a brand is like, dude, we know who we are. We know what we're trying to accomplish. Do you?
Exactly.
So, I mean,
and I guess one last thing that I'll kind of say on the topic, I've experienced a lot with it lately, and I think if you're on Instagram at all, that it is buying followers, subscribers, whatever. Brands see right through it, and
Facts.
Just because you bought an extra 15,000 on Instagram doesn't mean it's like, oh, I'm gonna go try to work with brands now. There's literally people that study this, that will research you, that will, hell, maybe even have a friend at Instagram to look how valid your audience is, and you're only gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, we've even seen it before. Like, we actually had, obviously we don't name names because it's not even necessary. But there was like an individual that came and shot with us here at the studio, and that person had mentioned it sucks because like when I was younger, I just decided to like invest in like followers. I just did that because I think it would help. And then now you see those individuals, they get like shadow banned in some cases because they realize that, even though if it was in the past. And so it might even be wise to like literally start over a new Instagram.
And she ended up going through, and I think she deleted around 15,000.
Yeah.
And honestly, you can see her engagement go up from when they were there and when they're not.
Yeah, no, absolutely, bro. Like, I mean, it's just like, It kind of bothers me, when people do that, because here's the thing. To everybody else, your average Joes, oh my goodness, you have so many followers, you're so cool or whatever. But dude, you ask us, like, you look at creators, people like you and I, and all those people that you see, all of us see right through that mess. All of us. And we literally, I don't know about everybody else, but I know Tyler and I look down on you.
Well, especially if you're doing that with the intention of, hey, if I grow my numbers, I can work with brands, because it's not going to work.
No, it doesn't. Like, brands do not want to work with your follower numbers. Brands want to work with your engagement numbers of your followers. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the biggest thing where I'm just like, bro, you got to do something. Like, you got to do the work. But I think the best thing, man, like, to kind of wrap this up, what would be the best way to raise your numbers so that you can work with brands like, and you're like a small creator, dude, 200 followers, 300 followers. You just got a camera and some drive.
Consistency, engaging with other people's posts. Like, I will literally go up to relevant hashtags and click the recent little folder thing and just start going, liking, commenting, actually commenting something that is relevant to that photo. And they're like, oh, this person added input to my photo. Let's go check out their stuff. I've gotten more off of that than I think anything else.
Right.
Even over hashtags. Like, I mean, I'll be a little transparent. When I'm on the toilet and I've got some time to kill, I'm just like, oh, here we go. Time to go comment on some people's stuff.
Yeah, exactly. and I think that's like really cool, man, because I actually got a DM from this guy who said, hey, I'm a big fan, share and support. And then sent me like a post. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is the biggest thing. Like, that message says nothing about any kind of relationship, any kind of like benefit to both sides, any kind of friendship.
Not even anything that's different than a copy and paste message.
Exactly. And like, because we see right through that. And so I think that's the thing that annoys me the most, because I'm like, bro, why? Like, why would I share and support when you just said, I'm a big fan, share and support, like, and you literally end the message. Like, you don't even ask, like, hey, bro, I haven't talked to you in a while. At least something like, haven't talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing good. Your last posted, dope. What do you think about this, man? And like, because that's the thing is that you need to go into it. You cannot go into these brand relationships and creator relationships to grow. You can't go into it thinking, what can I get, bro? Like, who wants to do that? Who wants to do all the work in a relationship? Come on, dog.
I think that goes with any relationship.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, relationship time with Ty and Joe.
I guess final thing. If you're reaching out to a brand, don't expect them to see your DM.
Oh, yeah, that's a big bar right there. Don't expect them to, man. It may take a couple times. Like, you know what, dude? I got this from I saw this on Airrack's video, another YouTuber. He was on a podcast and he said, the reason how I got to work with this other creator is because I sent them the thumbnail of the video that he hadn't even made the video and he already had a thumbnail. He made the thumbnail and then in the message said, hey, I want to do this. And the guy was like, I'm in. Like, dude, like,
go the extra mile on what you're trying to do, and it's probably going to get you a lot further than just like, hey, I like your stuff. Can you send me something?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, we've done that before. Like, Guilty. Tyler and I have even sent photos, like free photos, free video work to companies that we would like to work with. Literally just sent it and be like, hey, clean and clear, it's yours. If you want to use it, go for it.
And it's panned out.
Yeah.
On occasion, but definitely not as much as we wish it would have.
Yeah, it's true. Like sometimes, like we've sent a couple of videos to some like brands that we thought would, legit be like really sick and
left on red.
Yeah, they left on scene, man. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this podcast. I mean, we're gonna call that one a day. I hope you got something from it because we experience, man. Like, yeah. I mean, you can watch a YouTube video, but YouTube video, they'll just kind of go through it real fast.
You can learn from our mistakes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway,
if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot us a DM.
Yeah, you can
on the further topic.
Absolutely. Feel free to comment down below. If you agree with us, you disagree with us, man, drop it down in there. And on the DMs, we're definitely we're a lot more engaged whenever it comes to Instagram than YouTube or anything like that. Anything else, bro?
That's it, man.
All right, dope. We'll see you guys next time.